If you take a look around, the signs of the Creator are omnipresent. Welcome back to 5D Mystery School. This lecture is Land Before Time. Let's get into it. Okay, so I need you to understand and overstand that Jesus, or at least this is the modern recreation of Jesus, has the origin story of Osiris. And Osiris's origin story is closely related to that of Saturn. Kronos was the son of the creator, Uranos or Uranus. And Uranus represents the sky, so Kronos is the son of the sky. Osiris is also the son of the sky and the earth. And of course, Jesus, the son of the creator of the heavens and earth. Now, with this lecture, I'm not going to get too deep, but deep enough so that the seeds can be planted and you can go on and do some research. Okay, so Genesis 1 is explaining the creation of the electromagnetic field, right? If you were to read this chapter with your third eye, like in the beginning, God created the heavens and earth, we're just going to break down that simple little sentence. Actually, we'll do a few sentences and then we'll relate it back to time, chronos. So the beginning is time when something begins. So just saying the word beginning implies time, or it comes from the word fruma or foremost. All right, keep all this in mind. I'm going to bring it back full circle towards the end. So the word in is describing into, upon, among, about, or during, or within, inside. Another way of saying in is just using singular I. Or another way of saying in is en, like en route or en route. Okay, so it's describing something that's already in progress. In, expressing the situation of something that is or appears to be enclosed or surrounded by something else. Enclosed meaning the firmament. So the father of Kronos, Uranus, literally means the firmament. And being enclosed and time, those two things go together, okay? Okay, so God comes from the Sanskrit huta, invoked, or Old Church Slavonic, to call. So God is the act of invoking or calling, manifesting. Now, I want you to look at some synonyms for beginning. Focus on opening, inception, creation, birth. Notice that portal also shares the synonym opening, gateway, entrance. Genesis, opening, inception, commencement, alpha. God, Yahweh, the creator, deity, divinity. All right, just look at those. Creator, some synonyms would be architect, deity. Created, synonym would be invoked, spawned, generated. Heaven, now some synonyms for heaven. We went over this before, but just to refresh your memory, Zion, bliss, Elysium. So heaven is a vibration, okay? So in the beginning is in the portal, right? In the opening, in the gateway. The heavens and the earth was created, the firmament and the earth. And it was formless, but water was already present. And there was darkness present. But side note, you know that everything has a duality. So if was darkness present without light, or was the introduction of light the introduction of duality? I'm going to leave that for you to ponder, ruminate on that. Also, while you're at it, and God said, let there be light, okay? But notice that on the first day, there was light. And the sun wasn't made to the fourth day. Okay, you see, there was a greater light and a lesser light, and that was on the fourth day. So the light does not equate to the sun. But I want you to think about something, that the Bible does not mention 24 hours. It says that a day is from sunset to sunset, and 3 hours into the day is 9 a.m., which means the day started at 6, breaking the day up into 12 hours, 12 days in the 12 hours in the day, 12 hours in the night, and 12 and 12 is 3 and 3. And you can take a look at the history of the creation of 24 hours, how the Egyptians used 12 for the night and then 12 for the day. Now remember, Osiris, Chronos, and Jesus, same stories, okay? Here's the glyph for Saturn. Notice that the glyph for Saturn has the cross, and it has something that represents a sickle. It symbolizes a sickle. Now, a sickle is what Saturn used in the castration of Uranus, okay? And Uranus' testicles fell out in the ocean in the same way Osiris, he had the problem with the phallus. For those of you who don't know, look into the history of Set and Osiris, like sunset. But the cross here, it represents the cube matrix, okay? The cross is 490-degree angles. 490-degree angles is 360, just like the circle, which is why in alchemy you have squaring the great circle, but let's not go there. Now, the father of Kronos, Uranus, he was the son and the husband of the earth. So in a way, he created himself, and them together gave birth to time, and then time gave birth to Zeus, and Zeus represents electricity, amongst other things. So Kronos overthrew Uranus, the sky, to become the new ruler, governance, measurements, boundaries, anyway, the new ruler of the universe, and then Zeus overthrew Kronos to become the new ruler of the universe. For medium, reflecting on the castration of Uranus, the children against parents, just a short excerpt. Kronos used the sickle given by his mother and castrated Uranus. In some versions, it says a sickle or a scythe, and a scythe is like a question mark. You break down question like quest ion, to go out and seek something, but taking ion from question is really important. Follow me, because ion can be found in Zion as well, okay? Now, remember I said that Saturn is 369, okay? And in Gematria, Saturn is 3366, which you can get 9 and 12 out of this, like a clock. Chronos is 711, 711, and in Jewish Gematria or Hebrew Gematria, Chronos is 7, or Saturn is 7. 7 is mentioned over 700 times in the Bible, right? 7 chakras, 7th heaven, 7 days of creation, so forth and so on. Time is also 7 and 11. Side note, mass is also 7 and 11, and a suffix for mass is OME, like home, but I digress. Now, Revelation 14:1, the Lamb and the 144,000. Then I looked, and there before me was the Lamb, standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. Now, for this part, I need you to put your thinking cap on. What does the lamb represent? Are lambs and goats closely related? In Hebrew Gematria, time is 144. In Hebrew Gematria, light is 144. In simple Gematria, time is 11, and light is 11. Radio, like radio frequencies, is 144 and 11. Emit, you guessed it. Side note, sun is 33, and we've already talked about this numerous times. The pineal gland, vertebrae, age of death, you get it. So in the beginning, God created the heavens, and then when you leave your body, you go back to heaven, the Alpha and the Omega. Also, Lucifer represents light. The son of Osiris is Horus, representing hours, time. The 3 wise men represent Orion's belt. The star of Bethlehem, Beth meaning house, El meaning God, El also representing Saturn. Matter of fact, speaking of Orion's belt, the coordinates for the Great Pyramids is the speed of light. The Egyptians believed that when you pass, your soul went through a portal through Orion's belt. If you know the connection between Thoth and the Great Pyramids, Thoth symbolizes time. Speaking of time, clocks and watches use oscillation to tell us the time, and a synonym for oscillation is vibration, which is the foundation for every living thing in this universe. So let there be light was the creation of the 144,000. 12 times 12 is 144. Your DNA has 12 strands. And since God means to invoke the command, let there be light, that sound creating structures. Longitude, it means sound. Latitude is crystal lattices. And the light is the photon. The photons create our reality. The light came from a black hole. As I start to bring this to a conclusion, let me just point out a few more things. The sickle is the symbol for the Grim Reaper, and the Grim Reaper comes for you when your time is up. The land before time is conveying the order out of chaos, like the primordial darkness, time coming from the black hole. And when this scripture talks about forehead, it's referring back to time. His name and his father's name, that's Kronos and Uranus, that's Oros and Osiris. In astrology, Saturn rules over Aquarius and Capricorn, okay? The heavens and the earth. The beginning and the end is Capricorn, Saturn. The year starts with Capricorn and it ends with Capricorn. Saturn forms a square with Aries, the incarnation, right? And links up with Libra, the yin and yang, and links up with Cancer, the womb. But let me start to reel it back. Now notice when you refer to time, it's always referring to the beginning, like what time does it start, or like a cut, what time do you have open, or the end, what time does it end. So when we refer to time, we are always referring to time as space, like it always has like a beginning point and an ending point. And the equation for time is time equals distance, the length of something, over speed, like speed of light. So distance is the extent of space in between 2 points. And space is a period of time. Again, which is why in Hebrew gematria, time is 144, right? And the Hebrew alphabet has 22 letters. The highest degree of Saturn in astrology is 22. And the white hole and the black hole is the yin and the yang, which in itself is an explanation of time. So put on your thinking cap. In the Garden of Eden, there was a snake that appeared, right? But the snake is symbolic. What do you think that snake represents? It's worth mentioning that the Ouroboros is the snake eating himself, which is symbolizing reincarnation, the eternal loop. Another way of looking at this is the beginning and the end. Side note, isn't it interesting that Alpha and Omega are both particles? Now, remember I said that Lucifer symbolizes light? In a lecture I made like a while ago, a few years back, I was saying that Jesus and Lucifer was both symbolizing light. But I'm going to plant a seed, walk away from that one. So matrix is imprinted in scripture. And matrix is a reference to the womb, okay? The womb is Genesis. The matrix is also represented by this black cube of Saturn, which can be seen all throughout the world. And when you look at homes, you have the cube with the pyramid on top. That's Saturn and Uranus, the father and the son. And when you see places of worship like this, and then you have huge circles of people walking around the black cube, that is symbolizing the rings of Saturn, the black hole, creation of time. So Saturn was given rulership over the 12 descendants of the earth. So this scripture is describing the beginning of our reality, right? The demiurge ruling over the material world. And when you come into this life and when you end this life, you have a time of birth and a time of death, right? The beginning and the end. And it is often mentioned that near-death experiences are associated with the white light. When people are at the nearing the end of this existence, the human experience, they see the white light, returning back to the white light. On Mount Zion is a synonym for heaven. And this is why the story goes, when you pass, you give your body back to the earth and you go to heaven. Capricorn, Aquarius, bearing Saturn at the end of your time here. If you like this video and you want to see more content like this, please be sure to like, share, and follow. I'll see you all next time. Peace.
5D Mystery School.